Let me tell you a story. You've heard of the Titans, right? Heroes among heroes, appointed by the gods themselves, and vested in holy elves and armor. Tasked with the unenviable duty of protecting the people beyond the sea from the infinite darkness that beset them. Not the easiest job in the best of times, and things were rough back then. Still, it's said that at the height of their power, there was a Titan for every city in the Archipelago, and nothing was beyond their sight. Now, I'm not here to tell you what kind of job they do, to put them up on a pedestal or to tarnish their memory. And honestly, all you really need to know about the Titans is that they're gone, and nobody really knows why. The thing left to mark their passings are broken idols, empty shells, and half-remembered songs. Because this isn't a story about the Titans. Not really. It's about what came after. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
To Roll Dice and Cry, which is our new podcast. Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
If you're here, you probably saw the sign on the door that said "Welcome." But if you've begun this adventure with us with having absolutely no idea who we are, maybe you're listening a couple years from now when we've got 1,000 episodes, or I don't know. Anything else?
Three episodes?
Three episodes. This is an actual play podcast where we're going to be playing a bunch of different games eventually, but we're starting with Dungeon World with me and my pals. And I'm going to actually introduce my pals to you right now, from west to east, in the western shores, West Coast.
West Coast, Best Coast.
West Coast, no. Best Coast. Chander.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. I go by Chander. You can find me on Twitter or Tumblr at chanderclear.
All right, cool. And then we're gonna take a short road trip from California to Chicago.
What about you?
I'll do me last.
Oh, okay. We could edit around this then. Hi, my name is Emily Riesbeck. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. You can find me on Twitter at thebluevalkyrie, which is also the name of the superhero comic I write and publish on Tumblr. You can find that by Googling The Blue Valkyrie or going to bluevalkyriecomic.tumblr.com. If you want to see some other comics I create, I have them up on. I have some shorter comics up on Tapastic, including my favorite Howling Night, which is about werewolf kids at summer camp, and I love it very much, and so will you.
Very good.
Thank you.
That was a very good plug. Okay, so I think our next most east, our next most west player is Armada Costa over in Denmark right now.
Yeah.
Or are you in Portugal back?
No, I'm in Denmark still. It's snowing. It's snowing. I'm so excited. I haven't seen snow in years. Also, I go by Mari mostly. Mariana's my family stuff. My family calls me Mariana. It's fine. Hi, everybody. I'm Mari Costa. You can find me on Twitter at Marinscos, and you can read my webcomic at perrytale.com. I make other comics also, but there's too many of them, and I'm not going to list all of them.
You have one of them that is in print right now?
Yeah, The Well by the House on the Hill, which you can buy at the Hiveworks store called Hive Mill. It's $8 the PDF and $20 the physical copy, which is a limited run.
Hey, nice.
Buy my book.
Yeah.
I made it with love.
Book. I will buy everyone's books all the time. I need to buy everyone's books still. Fantastic. And next, in the beautiful land of Finland.
Hey, I'm Nora. You can find me on Twitter at Snora at twitter.com. I draw stuff and study making
I
games.
think just
Yeah, that was a lot of ads there.
yeah.
It's like,
Woohoo.
Yeah, it's confusing. Twitter, social media, who knows?
who
really?
knows?
But good, awesome,
Yeah.
exciting. And then our final player in this campaign in the wild down under is Sloan.
I'm Sloan. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at FC, where I do art sometimes. Also, it's legally called Gay Australia now because we got the gay marriage the other day.
That's right.
Yeah!
About
Congratulations.
Gay Australia.
Way to not
Yes.
date this episode. We did it.
Oh.
Congratulations, Gay Australia.
I mean, all things, being as they are, it'll probably come out within a
Yeah,
timely
I'm
manner.
sure. Our Christmas special where we just start the campaign.
Our Christmas
Yeah.
special where we started the game. Fantastic. All right.
It's special because we're in it.
Yeah.
And in that way, all episodes are special.
We are a gift.
We're your gift to you.
You're welcome, listeners.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I am your GM and host for the current time, Zachary Fredrickson. You can find me on Twitter at obfuscatinggod and on Steam at obfuscatingdeity. I don't really have a lot of like a footprint on the internet. I mostly just reblog stuff and retweet stuff, and
You're making a podcast.
I'm making a podcast. That's my big thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud of all of you. You've done such a good job. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Thank you.
So yeah, and so without an ado, we're gonna get down into it. So today, this is going to be the sort of world building, character creation session of our first campaign, our first season. We're probably gonna do things like seasons rather than a full campaign. So you can probably expect to see maybe 1 or 2 seasons a year. I think we're still sort of figuring it out, but that's kind of what we've been thinking about. And our first season is going to be a Dungeon World campaign that we've tentatively named On the Shoulders of Giants. The one thing that we've sort of established about this world from our own conversations beforehand, which there's been many, even though we've tried to like keep a lid on it for that good. Draw maps, leave blank spaces. The idea that there was at one point a sort of very important, very legendary group of heroes called the Titans, who maybe 1,000, 2,000 years ago, before the events of the campaign, were really, really, really strong and interesting and like did some very important things that the details of which have been more or less lost to history. And so, with that comes the marks of their passing, which, because of time and because of the way history changes, not all of those marks are completely understood. And that's the sort of world that we're in now, in this archipelago of endless sea that our characters exist in. So we're going to go do a round table. We're going to introduce our characters. We're going to go through the actual character creation phase live here. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the world and the sort of the status of it, and the way that the status of it influences our characters and the way that our characters influence it in turn. So without ado, who wants to go first?
I'm fine with going first.
Okay, fantastic. Emily, you have the floor. Introduce us to your little thing.
My little thing. Well, that's very apt. I'm going to be playing the character of Zara Fontaine. Zara Fontaine is going to be a Longanel artificer. A Longanel is like a bunny person, so I'm going to be a bunny person, basically. Pretty short, probably about just over like maybe 3.5 feet tall. And she is an inventor. She comes from a family of landowning farmers in the kingdom of... What did I name this place again? Well, I didn't. Valentina. The kingdom of Valentina, which is, I believe, the largest kingdom on the archipelago.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of the biggest sort of. Oh, that's what I totally forgot. I forgot to draw the map. Whoops. But yeah, Valentina is sort of like the westmost kingdom. It's kind of like the largest contiguous kingdom because there's a lot of places that are bigger but that are less, I think, unified.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom. The fact that it's a kingdom in this era is like kind of like its own thing.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So specifically, Zara is the daughter of Godfrey and Alice Fontaine, who were both landowning farmers. She is the 16th of 23 brothers and sisters. And she is from the town of Gorzon, which is a relatively wealthy farming town. Obviously, Zara's family is a major landowner there. But Zara does no interest in farming because she, as I said, is an inventor. And she likes to make inventions that utilize the power of magic to help people and to make their lives easier in a way. She does this because she wants to prove basically that she can and that her inventions are valuable and worthwhile.
Yeah, so I think my first question, I got a list of questions for everyone, and I think I'm gonna like rotate them around a little bit as we go, round table it a little bit. My first one for Zara is you're an inventor.
Yeah, and
a lot of times the thing about inventors is that they are filling a gap. So what is the state of industry as it stands with you coming into it? That means that you have like a thing to give.
Well, I don't want to speak for the whole world, but Valentina is pretty like low level tech. I'm going to go off on a slight tangent here because I wanted to talk about this a little bit more. But so Valentina is a kingdom, but it's very centralized in its government. Like I was thinking that instead of like dukes and counts, it was more like they had viceroys and governors, people who were appointed and not hereditary. So it's got sort of like it's not feudal. It's not a feudal system, but it's sort of like uses the same trappings as a feudal system because like as the country has modernized, they didn't want to like get away from their, they have deep like monarchic roots, and so that like in spirit is maintained through like governorships and viceroyalties and whatnot.
Okay.
So that being said, I think there's a lot of like Valentina is still pretty low tech like farming, like landowners and like serfdoms and whatnot. So I think like one thing is that Zara is trying to
to modernize the workforce.
Well, the way I had seen it was more that like there's a stigma that the people like that Laganels and people from Valentina specifically are like simple in a say, not like they're dumb, but that they're like lower tech, they're simpler living, and I think Zara wants to like prove that they can be like on the forefront of technology as well.
Yeah, so like the original Laganels came from being a halfling replacement race in one of my one of our old D&D games. So that's definitely like that's sort of like they're still simple like farming folks, and they just got rakes and they got pitchforks.
Right. So like I'm thinking a jet powered rake maybe, or like a rake that shoots fire.
Snakes.
Hell yeah.
A snake rake.
A snake rake.
Turbo rakes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So we got this very rough map. So I guess if you want, you can just kind of plop down a little marker to show where Valentina is, to show where Gorzon is.
Oh, yeah, and then this could probably be uploaded later, right?
Yeah. We're definitely gonna make the map readily available to folks.
Okay, well in that case, I was thinking that it was sort of about here, which is pretty relatively close to, for those just listening. It's on the northern part of the kingdom, relatively close to two other like kingdoms, I guess, or at least two other like nations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the way that the whole system setup is still a little fuzzy. Like, this is the map that I'd like sketched on an index card one night at work. It doesn't necessarily have to even be like this. We could go back and completely rearrange this whole thing if people wanted to.
The important bit is that Gorzon is near it, relatively close to other nations. So it's not a border town, but it's relatively close to a border.
Okay, awesome. And so, so the idea about the answer to that question of like what's industry like is in Valentina, it's not.
Yes.
Things are still very much like they're kind of beholden to an older, more classic style of doing things that works for them, but it means that other folks are like, ha, look at these dudes.
Right, which they can, laugh all they want because we have all the farmland and we export a lot of food.
Yeah.
So it is working for us, but it's also, it creates that feeling.
Mm-hmm. So then the idea is that there is industry elsewhere across the archipelago, but it hasn't reached Valentina, and that's something that kind of bugs Zara.
Yeah, and I'm sure that in major cities in Valentina, you can find some of that, but I feel just overall there's this resistance to it, this feeling that there are these feelings of tradition that are working, but in some cases are a little stifling.
Okay.
At least Zara thinks.
As far as Zara is concerned.
That's so sweet. You guys made Portugal.
Did we? Is that how Portugal works?
Most of, except for the big cities. Yes, that is how Portugal works.
Interesting. Okay. Well, how about that? All right. So who wants to talk about their character first? Next.
I can go.
Okay, Mari.
I don't mind. Hey, I will be playing Radiant Eyre. That is Eyre, and it's pronounced like the emotion. Mm-hmm. He's a paladin. He serves the god named Old Chained Sella, who used to have a different name. We will get to that at some point, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. I wrote down some notes on a notepad, and one of them is sweet boy, which is correct. He is a sweet boy.
Awesome.
He comes from a family of very religious Sella people in a very small swamp town called Lotai. That basically the main inspiration for it was the Louisiana Bayou. He has 11 siblings, and they all have very good names.
Yes, we got some big families going on.
Yeah,
with our pint-sized kids.
Yeah, he is also a small non-humanoid-ish race with many siblings, just like Zara. So it's good order. Yeah. We got a pattern. Yeah. He just really likes God and being he really likes God and he likes being an asset to his town. He likes that people are like, oh, you're the paladin now. This is that's his big deal.
So he's
he's very.
Is that the thing? Is that you're the paladin? They call him that? That's his title in the church?
Yeah, absolutely. He is the paladin.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome. So I do have a question about also he's a kobold, right? That's the
yes, that's the thing I forgot. Yes. He's a kobold, and to me that means a lizard with a dog snout. But you can interpret that however you want. Listeners at home,
kobolds.
Give me the fan art.
Kobolds traditionally across fantasy have been are these dogs? Are they lizards? Are they dragons? We don't know. And then Falcor came in and totally fucked it up for everyone by being a dog and a dragon. So come on.
Oh man.
Yeah. Also, he has a pet axolotl. That's important.
He's got a pet axolotl. What's his axolotl's name?
Ah, shit. Putting me on the spot.
That's what we're doing here.
You're sure axolotling. Oh shit! You're sure axing a lot of questions.
Oh my god.
You sure axolotl questions.
Hi, welcome to Roll Dice and Cry. This is the comedy level that we have.
This is
going
me,
on.
your pungent master.
I did fuck that one up just a little bit at the beginning there, but I think I made the
Yeah,
adjustment.
you made a really good
worked out.
recovery.
We're good. Yes.
I got some time to think though. His axolotl's name is Sella.
Okay. So you have a dog named God.
Yeah, it's like naming a dog Jesus. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I
Fantastic.
don't think I've ever met a dog named Jesus.
And so, so the idea we had for Lotet is it's kind of like in a sort of marshy delta between Valentina and like other like southern stuff along this archipelago.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's the one.
Sort of like a weird, it's like a delta basically. Oh man, the geography of this place is buck wild. There's like a Mojave desert in the middle of it, and there's an alpine forest on the top, and the bottom is Italy. It's like it's
fantasy. It's fine.
It's okay. It's magic. There's magic.
It's a world of magic and mystery.
This is magic.
That's right.
I mean, also, it's an endless sea, and these islands are on the back of giant beasts that roam the seafloor. So, like, none of it has to make any sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Wanna meet a beast?
Wanna meet a beast? I have a question about religion in this world,
Ooh.
which is, what's up with it? You have there's Sella, who is your god, but
Yes.
what are the other gods? Who are they? How many? Do we have like a succinct, like a Grecian pantheon? Do we have like a sort of like there's a billion gods? Like like
Greece had a
they all
billion
have-
gods also, to be fair.
Greece did have a lot of gods, but like there's the guys, there's like the dudes, and then there's like I'm the god of chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
So I guess the question is, do we have a god of chairs?
So here's the thing, Zach, my good friend. I did think you were going to think about this on your own, and I did not think I would be asked this.
Well, so here's the thing. I've been listening to Adam Kobold talk about the questions that he asked his players at the beginning. Adam Kobold, shout out to Adam Kobold, the guy who wrote this along with Sage Latour, who I
big
should
fan.
have shouted out at the beginning. He always asks the paladin, the cleric, what religion works like.
Oh, good. Fun.
Yeah, the idea, but behind it being a collaborative world building is that we ask, the stuff that you know about is the stuff I ask you about. So, like, you ask a wizard, how does magic work? And the wizard tells you. I don't tell the wizard how magic works.
Should I say a little more about like technology in the rest of the world?
That was what I was asking you.
Ooh.
I am so sorry. I was worried I didn't want to step on like everybody else's toes.
Yeah.
No. When it's so the thing is, when it is your shit, you stomp those toes because it's your shit.
Okay.
my toes now.
A lot of other places do have technology, like the dwarves, and they have trains. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Dwarves super have trains, right? Orcs,
Yes.
they got battleships, right? What
Yep.
up?
Actually, I like that. Orcs have battleships.
Yeah.
Dwarves have
What
trains.
do elves have?
And that's the thing. Like
Well,
elves get nothing.
we're gonna get to elves. Elves,
I'm offended.
Wow.
yeah, we're gonna get to them elves.
Oh, bold stance on
We'll
the
get to the
elves.
I don't think I feel like the elves probably don't have as much technology, but maybe they have like magic to compensate for it.
And it's not so much like orcs have battleships, dwarves have trains, Laganals have nothing. Like it's more like these are one thing I wanted to be like is not like this is the nation of dwarves, this is the nation of orcs, this is the nation of man. It's more like these are places where people live, and there's going to be a spread in all different places, and but sometimes the demographics are going to be like more in one place and more in the other. Just wanted to hit that at the top, that this is not like a weird, like, these are not like species monoliths where there are only orcs in one place and only dwarves in one place and only so and so and so and so. Though the closest to that, which is kind of explicit and sort of intentional, is Valentina, which is sort of like that's their deal, is that it's all bunnies.
Low Tide is pretty, like, lizard central.
Yeah, but Low Tide's like a town, right?
That's true.
Low Tide is like a country.
It's very small.
It's very small.
It's lizard central and the one elf that we briefly talked about.
Oh shit, we talked about an elf, didn't we?
Yeah.
Unless is that not how, is that not how you feel about Valentina? Do you think Valentina is more integrated?
Well, I mean, there are certainly. It's not a monolith. Of course, there are immigrants and there are people who are either traveling or living and working in Valentina that are not Laganels. But that being said, I think you're right. It's a very high population of bunny people, because I feel like, part of that, like, very kind of tradition focused culture is national pride. And it is definitely like I feel like a lot of Laganels definitely have the opinion of, why would you ever want to leave Valentina?
Yeah.
This is where we belong, where we can, do our, like, sort of medieval France serfdom farming
stuff.
And just be bunnies. So I think it is, like, to use the tired version, I think it is very like the Shire, where, like, a lot of people in the Shire didn't really feel the need to go on an adventure or leave.
Because it was just so nice.
It's idyllic.
Idyllic, yeah.
Quaint.
Okay. Hey, Mari, guess what? You had some time to think.
Yeah,
Tell me about the gods.
I did think about it, actually. I think I like there being a lot of gods.
A lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like it being like, in American Gods where all of the gods from every religion exist?
Yes.
I like it being something like that. Like, there isn't a pantheon. There are multiple pantheons, and all of them are equally valid because all of the gods, like, exist, are tangible, kind of.
Is it a sort of thing where, like, gods are powered by belief in them?
I think, I think so.
Or do they exist separately from that belief? Or is it not that they live off of it, but they are powered by it, and so can survive without it, but at a severely weakened state?
I think it might be like a Tinkerbell thing. A Tinkerbell.
Okay, so clap your hands if you believe. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, like, she's not, like, I guess without the she's gonna die part, but, like, they get weak if you don't believe in them.
Okay. And is that weakness like, I'm gonna, like, bedridden, I'm gonna die weakness, or is it like, I'm a normal dude?
Yeah, I think it's more like mortal weakness. I'm immortal now.
Okay, so it's Hercules style shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's lots of them.
There's lots of them.
Who's the big one?
Oof.
Because it's not Sella.
It isn't. I feel like Sella was one of the big ones, though. Like, in the past.
One thing we talked about a lot is that Tella is like this severely reduced thing where, like, you hear tell that he used to be one of the big ones.
Yeah.
But then something happened and we don't know what it was.
Definitely for sure the kobolds believe with all their hearts that he used to be one of the big ones, if not the big one. That's probably false, but, like, these kobolds, they believe they're God. They love him.
They love him.
Yeah. Oh god, I don't want to say Zeus. I don't want to say it's just Zeus.
Well, the thing is that isn't Tella kind of like Zeus because he's like a storm god.
That's fair. What is a good? I mean,
I do have some gods that I was thinking about.
Ooh, tell me.
I told you about Amatine, the goddess of the sun and war. She whose patrol brings our days.
Yeah, I love that.
She's a lady who has a sun for a shield. And she walks across the sky to protect the world. Is it like
a shield shaped like a sun or like a sun? Like a star that she pulled from the sky? Yeah! Love that.
I don't know.
Love that answer. Very good answer.
Yeah. I don't know.
I agree.
So, okay, yeah. So she's kind of like the big deal. There's a lot of them, and they've all got their own sort of, like, small things.
I think usually what I do in, like, campaigns that I run is I put the most important ones as, like, the ones that are in charge of life and death, because that feels like important. But the sun is also pretty important, so I could go either way on this one.
Yeah, sun's kind of like the light.
Yeah,
life.
Yeah. And then the moon goddess, and they're married. That's my contribution.
Well,
actually, here's the thing, because this is one thing that I was talking with Chander about, which we might pivot into, is that there is no goddess of the moon.
Ooh.
And also the moon has a crack in it.
Ooh.
Just by the way.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mystery.
Somebody's killed our moon
Somebody
goddess.
killed
We need to
the
get
moon.
revenge.
It was Piccolo.
The sun is so sad
oh,
about
no.
her dead wife, the moon.
Actually, in Dragon Ball, it wasn't Piccolo who destroyed the moon. It was what's his name, Master Roshi.
What? No.
Yeah, it was Master Roshi,
This is
man.
beyond
What?
my comprehension.
He did it to turn Goku
I have
back.
no idea what's going
It
on.
was in the first tournament.
Oh shit. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a plot point
Well.
in our campaign. Someone needs to
that out.
destroy.
Cut
Someone
that out.
destroyed the moon to
Cut
bring
out the
Goku
fact that I was
back.
wrong about Piccolo.
What? But I was right. Leave
No,
it
I'm
there.
the GM. I have to be right about everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Otherwise, you won't respect me. Anyway, so now we're going to pivot over to Ford,
Hell yeah.
who might tell us a little bit about the stars.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
But first, tell me about Ford.
So Ford is an orc from Galyria, which is it's a majority orc country, but there's like a bunch of other people there. They do a lot of kind of ocean seafaring stuff, and Ford isn't actually Ford's real name. Ford goes by Ford Maphorn, but his actual name is Amadeus Linnae. He just thinks it sounds a little too fancy.
His name is Ford Maphorn?
Yeah, because those were like the three things that he saw when someone asked him what his name was.
A Ford? Oh shit! I thought you meant the car.
Yes. He saw a car, he was like, yeah, that's it.
I'm built Ford tough.
Hi, I'm Fiat. My name is Fiat. What? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's the thing, that all the orcs are named after cars. No, it's not. No.
Orcs are named weird stuff.
Orcs are named weird stuff.
Hey, tell us... Hey, Chander.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about orcs.
So, orcs are fun. We're going, I think, for kind of Rococork / like Baroque vibes. So, like, for like aesthetically more of a Baroque or Rococo approach to orcs rather than, I guess, what you usually see.
Yeah, orcs, and we're not doing like... These ones aren't sort of like the fantasy archetypical like tribal orcs.
No.
These guys are weirdly fancy.
These guys are weirdly fancy and weirdly into philosophy and the sciences. And Ford's a fighter. I think I'm doing the peerless fighter variant.
Yes, which hopefully I wrote that down. If not, I will insert here who created that.
Mm-hmm. It's, I think it's poorimpulsecontrol.tumblr.com is where I see a link for it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm doing the peerless fighter variant. But before that, he actually, for a while, for most of his life, before that, he was an astronomer. And he was actually hired by a different country, not Galyria, but I think Baron, which is the country right above Galyria. And he spent a while in the mountains, which were kind of dangerous, and that's most of where he learned his fighting skills for, like, stress relief purposes originally, and also because there's a bunch of dangerous shit wandering around the mountains, so it fell to him as the big tough guy to protect everyone.
Despite the fact that he was there to be a nerd, he was forced to become a tough guy.
Yeah, basically. I mean, he did it for fun, mostly. Stress relief, because he didn't like his coworkers or the Ivory Tower academia thing. And then he just one day, he punched a coworker and left because he got really fed up with one of their arguments, and now he's a fighter who wanders around and does stuff.
Just goes around and fights.
Yep. His dad's a doctor, his mom's a banker down in Galyria. He has two lovely sisters who also engage in the scientists. I think one of them's a doctor, and the other one researches magic, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought one of them was a captain.
Oh, shit. Yeah, one of them was a captain. That's the one that researches magic. I totally forgot.
Yeah, because
That's her hobby.
The big thing about
Magic's
the
her hobby.
government of Galyria is it is so married to their idea of being seafarers. And so much so that the leader of their country of their government is just called the High Admiral.
Whoa.
And it's the Admiralty Council, and there's like the War Admiral, the Culture Admiral, the Vice Admiral, the Vice Admiral, the Vice High, so on and so forth. It's just a bunch of admirals, and then the High Admiral who rules the whole thing.
Ford personally very much doesn't care about any of that. And he very much also tries to keep his astronomer past, like science nerd past, kind of a secret. Mm-hmm. Partially because he just doesn't want to get pulled back into that whole academia factor. Mm-hmm. He just wants to punch stuff and like be pointed in a direction and like told go.
Okay. He's so tired of this like philosophical roundabout like endless conversations and debates. He's really, from what you said, looking to be a lot more decisive in his life.
Yeah, he's looking to do, not like talk about doing for
all right,
10 years.
Cool. My question though about that relates to him. I know you want to like put it in your past, but what are the stars like?
So the stars are fun. From what I'm thinking, I'm gonna leave whether this is gods or holes in the sky or actual celestial bodies. I'm gonna leave that blank. But the stars do move, or at least the planet moves. So it looks as if the stars move, and at the same time, the beasts that roam the ocean floor also move. So keeping track of the stars and their positions is a little complicated, but overall rather important to telling, I guess, where the beasts are in location, in relation to each other, the seasons, time passing, things like that.
Is there a correlation between the movements in the stars and the movements of the beasts?
There is some. They do follow roughly the same rotation, but at times it changes, like how the North Star wasn't always the North Star, or it won't always be the North Star.
I guess. Is that a thing?
Yeah, because of the way I almost failed an astronomy class once, so I know what I'm talking about. The way that, I guess, because of the movements of the Earth, the North Star isn't always going to be the North Star. I think it's going to be Sirius at one point, but that's like forever into the future. So there is a star, definitely, that serves as kind of like a guiding force for the beasts that roam the ocean floor.
Nice, awesome, cool, and we chart them same ways we would normally with telescopes and like sextants and protractors.
Sure.
Compasses. How do you anyway? Yeah. And that was sort of Ford's whole deal before he left. Mm-hmm. And now he just doesn't want to talk about it no more.
No, I mean, he still very much loves astronomy and the sky. It's like his thing.
Aww.
But he just he doesn't want to seem like he's a nerd. You know?
That's cute.
All right, cool. So we've got 2 characters left. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
All right.
We've mentioned elves.
Let's talk about elves a little bit.
We mentioned how bad elves are. How much they suck.
It's Ford's personal bias.
Elves are the best in every campaign, forever. I am playing an elven bard whose name is Adeline Fleetwood. She travels around alone because she does not want to be with her family, because elves are weird. And she would rather try to be around quote unquote normal people.
Oh. So why are elves weird?
Elves are the only race who can handle magic without side effects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Magic is there's a physical thing that they can study, which runs through ley lines, which go through all the continents. So elves are kind of not nomadic, but like they move their settlements around to wherever they can best study magic and its effects, especially on other races, because they feel obligated to be the ones who, I guess, handle it, try to figure it out. Yeah. But because that they're very secluded, and Adeline wasn't about that.
She wasn't about that life.
No.
So to like sort of put it into plain words, the way that we are handling magic in this, because we don't have a wizard, and so there is currently no person who actually actively shapes magic to their whims. We took that and kind of ran with it a little bit to just be like, magic is weird and dangerous, and the thing that we call magic is the blood of these beasts that the islands lie on. And are, that walk across the seafloor and pull the islands over them. And, they've got such weird sort of internal chemistry that, like, their arteries become ley lines and their blood is this physical substance that is, like, this incredibly powerful fuel source. But it also, if you don't have the proper protective gear or measures, will just kind of fuck you up in some wild ways. It's sort of like, what we talked about is that it's like almost a nuclear or like a radioactive substance. And elves, for whatever reason that we will figure out eventually, probably, are resistant to that.
As the only character who is resistant to that, I feel very upset that Adeline can't get mutated nuclearly somehow.
Yeah.
Unless something goes wildly bad, I guess.
And yeah, I guess we'll find out. Like, I mean, everybody's resistant a little bit, but if you get dropped into a container of nuclear waste, I'm sure that'll do something.
I'll try not to.
Well, I think that might be really good for Zara, too, because it could be like there's a skepticism and a reluctance towards using magic, and Zara's, like, inventions use magic. Like, they funnel magic.
Yeah. So, actually, a good question about that is, where do you get that stuff?
Oh, golly. Wherever I can.
Who's your dealer?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like... Oh, is this a question for Zara?
Yeah.
Okay. I get it where I can. It's probably pretty expensive, and I probably... Like, I think part of the reason that Zara is got a sort of wanderlust and is traveling with people is because it's hard to find it in Valentina, where there's not much technology and not much magic. But, like, if I could find elves, they would probably give me some. Or if I could go to a place where there's more technology and they may utilize magic a little more, they could definitely give me some sort of like battery or something. And I think that's where I get most of my like sort of batteries too.
Because it's effectively, like plutonium rods.
Hell yeah, I'm into it.
That you're like plugging stuff into. And it's very powerful, but it's very dangerous. Which is, I guess, the whole metaphor we're going with. But yeah, the idea is that raw it's extremely dangerous, but refined it can be less dangerous. Though the ways that it is refined have sort of fallen off a little bit. I think it's become less and less commonplace to use, specifically because of the dangers it poses. And also, so what was the questions that we had?
Yeah, I don't think you've asked me a question about Adeline yet.
Here's my question about you. Tell me about music in the Archipelago, and about yourself specifically.
Ooh, I think that at least with Adeline, she plays a mandolin. So it's probably really... I want to say that she plays a lot of folksy stuff because she travels a lot, and that's how she learns new music. So she would probably learn a bunch of folk music. Probably some of the more technologically advanced areas have more interesting instruments to work with, but I don't think she knows how to play those.
How's fantasy EDM? How's fantasy EDM, please?
Fantasy Skrillex is out there, and he is dropping
what
the
race
beat.
is Fantasy Skrillex?
Where's Fantasy Skrillex from?
Oh god.
What race is fantasy Skrillex? We have to know.
He's gotta be Baronese, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's out
Baron's
there
like
playing to sell out concerts.
Baron's the northmost country. It's actually sort of like an autonomous commune sort of thing. It's run by a bunch of families who are just called the families.
Great. Very good.
Yeah. It's basically, I guess it's kind of like a mafia country.
Skrillex is in the mafia.
Maybe sort of like a merchant republic almost.
Yeah. They're the place that Ford worked for a long time, and they're very focused on like nobility and like lineages and families, which actually pivots really well into our next character, our last character. That's Nora's character. Nora, do you want to introduce your character?
No, but I guess I have to. No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I'm playing Tioko. Tioko Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Bell is like her secret name as a phantom thief, because she's a thief.
Oh.
And her calling card is a little bell.
Aww.
Aw. Like, haha, I came here with bells on, you still didn't catch me.
Yeah, exactly. And
I love it.
She's a very cheerful person, and whenever she like comes in a new situation, she's really quick to assess how she would benefit the most in this situation. And very flashy.
Very analytical and flashy.
Yes.
Is it like a measured, like, calculated flash?
Yeah. I mean, she sometimes values being flashy more than the other stuff, so it might hinder her sometimes, but she really, really likes to show off.
I love it. So, you didn't mention, but what race is Tiku?
Kosachi. Whoa. Kosachi. Oh my god.
So
never
cat
said
girl.
Loud.
Cat girl?
So she's a cat girl.
Yes.
I've been pronouncing it as Koshaki.
Koshaki. Yes.
Koshaki, yeah.
Yep.
It's got a lot of letters in it. And it's back. Yeah, basically, it's like, it's your Kashit, your Tabaxi, your cat person race. And so she's a kitty cat.
Yeah, she's a very cute curly-haired kitty cat.
Oh, guys, you seen this kitty cat's the curly fur?
Yeah.
It's
adorable.
That's Tuku.
Yes.
And so she's a thief. And she's a phantom thief. So she's got to steal from some pretty fancy folks. So like, how does she get around that? Like, we've talked a little bit about sort of her living situation. Or what it was.
Yeah. She comes from, like, a really hardworking family. That was, like, working really hard to prove themselves as, hardworking people, I guess. And she was like, fuck this. She wants the easy life. So she kind of got out of there. And, I think she started kind of small, maybe, with the thieving stuff. But pretty quickly developed a brand, maybe kind of famous actually.
Oh.
Like, there's like stories.
Tales told about.
Maybe, yeah.
The Phantom Thief.
Not all of them.
The Bell.
Not all of them real, but some very romanticized maybe. And she loves them all.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so where's she, like, been active?
I think she left the former great Koshaki Empire where she lived. And I think she was in the... what's the bark orc country name?
Galyria?
Galyria, thank you.
Oh, she's been in Galyria.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she was in Baron.
Oh, well, I mean, that works also. I just, like, the only thing I had planned is that she had an orc lover.
Oh.
Who she just ghosted out on completely.
Aww.
Because she was on there with a false identity and was almost getting caught, so she just had to hightail it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because we're kind of starting in Galyria.
Oh.
So if you want it...
Yeah.
So here's your decision. Do you want to have a place to the north where, like, I hightailed it out of there, I'm not there no more. If I go back there, shit might get real. Or do you want it to be, the place I'm in right now is too hot for me?
Maybe the place up north is too hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be Baron. That's the place that Ford worked for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Ford was not the orc, though.
No.
Are you sure?
Unless he was. Unless you want that to be part of your character bonds.
Oh. No.
I mean, I think we'll see.
Okay.
Keep it open.
Yeah, keep it open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I think, briefly that she was living under an assumed identity.
Mm-hmm.
And then that sort of, like, something went wrong there.
Yeah.
And you just kind of booked it out.
Yeah, I think she had, like, assumed someone else's identity, and they were coming back home. Or they were like, moving there. And
Oof.
she was like, well...
Oofa.
Yeah.
We also mentioned very briefly that you come from the place that was once a very big Koshaki empire.
Yeah.
Which is, the country name we come up for that is called Zolyat.
Mm-hmm.
Zolyat, which is sort of like Japan and sort of like Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Is like sort of the aesthetic we've been going with. And at one point there was like a big empire there that fell apart. For reasons that we can get into at some point. But the basic thing is that it used to be ruled, it was like a Koshaki, almost like monolithic, the high level government was almost entirely Koshaki, and they're gone, and now there is not a Koshaki government to speak of.
Yeah.
The current rulers of Zolyat is a human government. But you live there, and you live all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that's everyone's like real quick introductions. And so let's just go run on the table again. So Zara, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit. One of my questions that I wrote down, because I wrote down a list of questions for everyone. One of mine for you was, how do your inventions differ from what exists in the world, and what unique things do your work put into it? And I think we talked about that a little bit, that Zara is using like magic core, magic tech almost stuff.
Yeah. Yes, and that's like, if I'm allowed to like go this far, I'd say that's like almost unheard of, because it's dangerous, and it's like, why would anybody do that? Is basically the thing, except for Zara, who does it.
So like, this is a weird pull, but you're kind of like, you got a flux capacitor thing going on. You're like Doc Brown with the uranium, sticking it in the car, and people are like, "Why are you doing that?" And you're like, "I gotta do it, Marty."
Well, yeah, I think that's very. I mean, she's an artificer, so like mad scientist, definitely a little bit. Although she's a little bit kinder than like some of the others, or at least that's why I hope she'll be. We'll see when I actually play her, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess we'll find that part out.
She does want to help people, and that's like her main thing. But she also is like she's very invested in proving like the value of herself and her inventions to others, to the world. And I in a sense, she's very fascinated by magic, especially because she can't use it. So and especially because it's so like people are so reluctant to use it. I feel like Zara is very interested and very invested in basically getting people to say, like, listen, yes, this is dangerous, but we are capable of doing it. We have the ability to. And our lives could be so much better if we utilize this magic. I think that Zara is also a little bit naive in that she grew up on stories of, like, magic and myths and legends and whatnot, and she's very like, and part of her is like, well, why can't I make the world more like the world I'd want it to be?
Okay, cool. With the power of the atom.
With the power of science. That's right.
All right, absolutely fantastic.
So, like, and then just to like wrap it all up, she is a scientist, she's an inventor, and she's not the kind of scientist who thinks, like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to play God, and I don't care about the consequences. She's the kind of scientist who is like, there is no way this will be bad. This will only be good, and it's only a good thing that I'm saying.
So she's like the dude in Jurassic Park 1, as opposed to, like, all of the other Jurassic Parks.
You mean John Hammond?
Yeah.
I feel like John Hammond was doing it for the money. Zara's not doing it for the money, but
she's doing it for the recognition.
Yeah, and to help people. Yeah,
and to help people. Okay, so she has, like, altruistic goals.
Yes, she is altruistic, but also she's, yes. That's it. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hey, Radiant.
What's up? That's me.
How do you draw power from a deity, especially a chained one?
That was going to be my question to you. Let me think.
Okay.
So here's the thing about Tella specifically. He's super weak right now. Like, a whole bunch. So I guess I'm not going to say the magic is weak, because that feels like I'm limiting my character on purpose, and it's like, I don't want to do that, because it's Dungeon World. But I'm going to say that a lot of the stuff that's directly to do with contact, like a lot of the stuff that relies on cleric spells, like guidance and, like, commune, it's very impersonal, because like, it's hard to reach a person who's chained, literally.
Yeah. So do you think that in some way Radiant is drawing more on his personal belief than necessarily the power of the god?
His magic is that he believes a lot on the god, and that's what makes him powerful.
Yeah.
That's very cute. But I think maybe he's a paladin because of his belief. He's a paladin because he believes more than anyone that Chella is very good. I don't think that's why his magic works.
Okay.
I think Chella was like, I'm not sure how paladins are chosen, but Chella was like, well, this kid, I guess. And it could have been anyone. But his magic doesn't work because he happens to believe a whole bunch.
Okay.
Are there... Oh, I remembered what I was going to ask. The other thing I was going to ask. There's so many gods.
Lots.
Are there so many paladins and clerics?
No.
Oh.
You're the paladin. You're the only one. That's the way that that Dungeon World works.
I know that, but, like, what are the other gods thinking? Like, who's this asshole who gets the one paladin?
So here's the thing, because there's these other gods will have holy warriors.
Sure.
They will have priests. They will have crusaders and knights, but they will not have the paladin, because that is you. And so I guess one thing is, what is it about you and your connection with Chella, or Tella, that means that you are the paladin and none of these other folks are? You don't have to answer that right now, but that's still a question out there. And that's the thing for all of you, is that, and this is kind of a thing with the sort of, like, mythic fantasy sort of feeling that Dungeon World tries to evoke. Because, like, Dungeon World is kind of funny because it's, like, high level, like, mythic fantasy because everybody is the only version of that exists. But also it's, like, dungeon crawling, you gotta measure your rations, you gotta measure your days and stuff, and your load.
Yeah, like, we're special, but we're not all-powerful, is, I guess, the feeling.
It's really cool. But yeah, you can all think of like, what's the thing that makes you the thing?
Did we at some point mention that? I feel like either I thought of this alone or we talked about it. Did Radiant at some point get struck by lightning and survive?
I don't remember that, but I love it. I love that so much. And that's like, all of the kobolds and Lotire are like, oh my god! That's the sign!
That's him.
Oh my god, it's a 1 in a million chance you were literally struck by lightning.
Yeah.
And that's how you became a paladin.
Yeah.
I love it. Does that mean you have a lightning strike like scar on your scales?
Yes. I have to adjust his design, but yes, absolutely, that rules. I love it.
Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's how but you were struck by lightning, survived with nary a scratch on you except the sign, and people have taken that to believe that is the sign that you are the chosen of Chella.
Yes.
I love it. And so then what is that how you draw the power? Is lightning in you?
That would be very cute, cool if it was like an avatar type thing where his eyes start glowing and it's like, ooh, some lightning. I'm gonna go with that, actually. I don't know why I said it like I had an alternative.
I don't know. I mean, you always have an alternative, and that is tell me a different thing.
That's true. I will try and think of something else, but I do dig the lightning shit. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
So yeah.
He's very connected to like water and stuff, so
because Tella is sort of this like god of like rivers and storms, and he's a lot weaker now. He's sort of like a rainy day fellow as opposed to like a typhoon, a raging storm.
It's me, god of inconveniences on your day.
Yeah. Hey, I heard you washed your car last week, fucker. Good. Hey, Adeline. Mm-hmm. Adeline. I don't remember if I asked Ford or Adeline first, but I have Adeline next to my list, so I'm going to ask Adeline this one.
All right.
How is it that you can bend the world around you with music and song?
It's an excellent question. She's just got a normal mandolin, but I feel like if she's an elf, she's got to be using magic a little bit. There has to be some sort of magic element in it.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if...
What is it? Because so the main conceit about Bard is you have your arcane art.
Yes.
Which means that you can, like, playing the, like, for you, the mandolin or whatever it is, playing it does stuff and materially affects the world. But how does that happen? Are you, like, using sonic waves? Ooh. Are you using psychic powers? Or is it just, like, a reality thing?
I do like sonic waves. That's pretty fun. But, how does magic affect people? It's like nuclear, right? What if the way that her magic, if she's trying to hurt somebody with it, or her bard powers, it's kind of a similar physical reaction.
Are you giving people radiation sickness out here?
Yes.
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 God. You gotta plasma blast. Yeah. So is that just the thing? Is that you are influencing magical waves?
Yes.
Magical radiation?
Yes.
And using it to your advantage?
Absolutely.
Through magic? Through music?
I think that's sick as hell, so yes. This is my nuclear mandolin.
Nice. And so how is it like, do you like coat your strings in it? Do you have a pick that is made of like solid magic crystal?
Do people use picks on mandolins? I like that. That's fun.
Even if they don't, that doesn't mean that you can't.
This is true.
This is my electric mandolin.
I think people do use picks on mandolin. I think they use like thumb picks though, from what I've seen.
I like a magic pick. That is pretty good because like the idea of having to like if she was like coating her strings in it or whatever, having to go get more magic, which would be like something she would actively have to do. I don't think she'd be super into that, but if it's something that she's using all the time and doesn't have to replace, unless, she loses it or something, then...
Adeline.
Yes.
Do you have the pick of destiny?
Oh, don't... Yeah. Oh. It's great. She has the best pick. The best magic pick of all time.
The best magic pick in any fictional property ever.
Yes. But yeah, I do like a magic pick because then she can sort of not. She knows it's magic, but it's like almost like she can deny that she's using magic. She doesn't really want to spend a lot of time around that stuff because that's why she's away from other elves. So she can be like, no, it's just this is just my pick. What's up? But she knows.
She knows.
She knows.
All right, cool. So let's Ford. My next question was going to be, why do you fight instead of anything else? But I think we kind of covered that. So instead, maybe just tell me about Galyria a little bit. Though I guess we talked about that too. So tell me something. Tell me a thing. Tell me about your fighting style. How about that? Yeah, tell me about how you fight.
Well, Ford's a punch guy. Ford uses his fists more than anything because fighting to him, it's not about honor. I mean, it is really just one long quest for stress relief. But fighting with his fist, I think, kind of feels a lot more personal, a lot more down to earth. So he uses like what it's called, like a cestus or whatever it is, like those like that like brass knuckle shit that you cut, like those like little gloves that you put on your hands, and it's metal, so it hurts more.
So basically, like a knuckle duster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the way the Peerless Fighter playbook works is that anytime you are using something that uses your fists, it works, as opposed to having a signature weapon, which is how the standard fighter works.
Yeah, and he can definitely use other weapons. He just definitely prefers his fists and probably isn't quite as skilled with other weapons as he is with his fists, just because that's his signature fighting style. I do have to name it, which I realized and I didn't think about. I think it's just like Star Puncher, I think is what he calls it.
Wow.
He's I don't want to say he's a simple guy, but he's definitely a little like one-track minded when it comes to
he's not one for flowery speech.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point? It just wastes time. You know?
And I guess the second question, where did you grow up?
Grew up in Galyria. Maybe like a fourth of a day's like ride, whatever, from the coast.
Okay.
So relatively nearby, but not actually in a trade hub. But one of the trade routes does pass through that city. And it's a university town in the end.
Okay.
But it does generally take the form of a city. They mostly have a good, I think, medical school, which is kind of what they focus on there. But they have, I guess, also a good astronomy department, because that's what Ford studied. Yeah, they're focused, I guess, on all the natural observations of the world there in that city, town. I can talk more about his family, I guess. Probably grew up in a townhouse of sorts. Again, his mom was a banker, so I don't think, like, she had, like, that nice, like, 9 to 5. And his dad worked odder hours. So I think he was always just out at the university, like, chilling, because the campus looked nice, so chilling, sitting around, like, listening to students talk. More than anything. He was definitely a nerd pretty much up until he went into the mountains and was stuck in a small observatory with Kevin and like 10 other idiots.
Kevin. Yes, Kevin, your old academic nemesis.
Yeah, Kevin's an elf. Kevin is the guy Ford punched before he just literally left. Wandered into the mountains in the forest. It was just like, I have it from here.
For those keeping track, we have the characters Radiant, Adeline, Ford, Tiaku, Zara, and Kevin.
Kevin is a special character. All of us play him at once.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Okay, so we are running a little bit long for the pacing, so I just want to ask Tiku one last question.
Okay.
Which is tell me a little bit about the ways that you like moved around in noble circles with your like cover identity. Like, what was your like style?
Oh my god. I think she's very good at sucking up to people.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think she just like kind of has a knack for going somewhere and pretending that she belongs there, but like being super confident. And like if someone questions her, she's like, "Do you know who I am?" Kinda.
Absolutely. And of course, they have to know who you are. You're the person.
I'm the person, the important person, the VIP.
Awesome. So I actually just went back and checked Dungeon World's character creation. We kind of did it backwards a little bit, because we did. I was planning on walking through it, but we've kind of done a lot of it. So let's just breeze through this, everybody. Make sure that we've got all these stuff down on lock. So first, you choose your class.
We did it.
Everyone's got their class. Do you want to just shout out your classes real quick? Zara.
Artificer.
Adeline.
Bard.
Ford.
Peerless Fighter.
Tuka.
Teeth.
And Radiant.
Paladin.
Awesome. So next, you've got your race. And some classes have race options. Your race gives you a special move. You don't have to pick the ones given in the... you don't have to look at the one that's on your thing and say, oh, I have to be a human to pick that, because we can feel a little loosey-goosey with that.
I do want What Here is Evil very badly.
It's a very good one. And also you can look at other classes, or if like there's nothing that immediately grabs onto you, we can talk about it later off camera and figure out your basically it's just going to be your background move. So does everyone got one for those?
I'm going to pick the human one, which is you have one more gadget than whatever your moves tell you.
Yes, because you're playing the Artificer, which is wild, and it's got a lot of cool stuff. And I'm going to dial back around to you at the end of this.
Sure.
Or maybe at the beginning of next session of the actual adventure proper, so we can just... I think I'll do that. We'll at the beginning of next adventure, we'll make sure everything is ready and set. And so we'll know what your gadgets are. We'll know all those stuff.
That is something I could easily just do on my own and then recite it later.
Yeah. But everyone's got their race move.
Yeah. Yes.
Their special move.
It's a great question because I have backgrounds, but I was thinking of switching it out for some kind of astronomer move.
Yes, and we talked about that, and we will do that.
Awesome.
We can and we'll it's going to be something about either a thing about spouting lore, being better at spouting lore specifically about astronomy, or something about navigating better, or both. We'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah.
Cool. Choose your name. Got our names.
Yay!
We didn't pick the names off the lists, so we're being a little bit buck wild already. We will only get more buck wild.
Is that a requirement for Dungeon World? I did not know that.
It's not like a real requirement, but the Dungeon World kind of likes you to do it that way.
Yeah. Actually, if you go to a notable Dungeon World actual play podcast, you'll notice that a lot of them are actually named from the list.
Yeah, I did notice. I just thought they were being like one time I did pick a name from the list because I was lazy. Was the reason.
Yeah. Some of the names are pretty good, honestly, but we already had our stuff sort of figured out, so we didn't do that. And then your look, which I think you should pick from the list, or at least describe yourself in a description that is in the same style as the list, because I think those are really useful for like a very quick description. Like you could go through and describe yourself like head to toe, tell us like the filigree on your armor, tell us about the special rings you're wearing, but you could also say ornate armor, tired eyes, so and so, and that's kind of like a quick and punchy way of describing yourself that I think is helpful for quick visualization.
Should we do that? Should we say this out loud?
I think pick it on your own, and when we start the game, you can use that as your description.
Cool.
The micro game today.
Okay.
Paladin has one that's bald, so I just picking that one for hairstyle.
Okay. Or like a crest, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he's got scales.
He's got scales.
Yeah.
He's a scaly dog boy. Or lizard. And then, does anyone else have any like things, worries about that?
No.
All right.
Mm-mm.
Cool. Next step, rushing through it to try to hit this under 2 hours. Is your stats. You got to choose your stats, folks. Everybody, you start with the scores 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, and 8. You want to check out your starting moves for your class and the basic moves to figure out the things that interest you. It says, pick out the move that interests you the most. Something you'll be doing a lot or something that you excel at. Put a 16 in the stat for that move. Look over the list again and pick out the next important move to your character. Maybe something that supports your first choice. Put your 15 in the stat for that move. So on and so forth for the rest of it. So that's the suggestion it makes is look at the stuff that you want to be doing and align your stats accordingly.
Okay.
Because the worst thing is being bad at a thing you want to be doing a lot.
Yeah.
Because while that might be funny a couple times, it also gets like tiresome for yourself to be bad at the thing you want to be good at.
That tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I have done that accidentally one time.
Yeah. I used to do that all the time where I was like, oh, I want to be good at this. But I didn't understand. Mostly when I was a kid playing like CPRGs, like I would pick stats based on what sounded cool, and I would totally fuck up my character and be completely broken and impossible to use.
I did that for the campaign Emily ran, where I thought one stat was attacking, and it wasn't, and I fucked it up, and I missed 3 shots that I took, all 3 of them.
I hope you had fun with that one because
I did.
I've got a really quick question for the floor, which is, golly, do I want? I feel like Zara is very bad at both strength and charisma, but obviously I can't be very bad at both. So I'm wondering if anyone has any suggestions on which Zara should be worse at. Probably strength.
My
Strength.
top 2 are strength and charisma, so like either one. I've got the balance. I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My top 2 are going to be int and wisdom, actually.
Mine are strength and constitution.
Nice.
Mine are dexterity and charisma.
Mine are constitution and charisma.
Oh, Adeline is a hardy elf.
Yes.
My charisma's a -1, so you know.
My strength is a -1.
She needs charisma as a bard, and she needs constitution to do the move where you can hurt somebody with your music. So yes.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay, good. So you've all got a pretty solid grasp on that. You know which is going to be your high ones, which is going to be your low ones.
Mm-hmm.
You got our character sheets. Everybody's filling them out.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Correct.
Good. Okay. And next we set your maximum HP. And your maximum HP is equal to your class's base HP plus your Constitution score, which is not your con modifier, but your con score, which is a very important difference.
Nice.
For reference, for example, a bard starts with what's your starting con?
I believe it is 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 plus con.
6 plus con, which for you is 15. So which means your total is 21.
Yes.
Yes. So that's a fair amount.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Mine's not that high.
Not mine either.
Okay, cool. And then next we'll pick our starting moves, which the front side of each character sheet lists the starting moves. Some classes, like the fighter, have choices to make as part of those moves. Make those choices now. The wizard, we don't have to worry about. We don't got a wizard. But the cleric and the wizard, all of these sentences have to do with the wizard. So we don't know. If you have any choices to make about your moves, make them. If you want to talk about those choices, I'm sure we would all love to hear about them.
I have to pick an area of expertise for bardic lore, which I did totally forget that I had to do, and they're all very interesting.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the thing for you? What's Adeline into?
What's her fandom?
What's if Doctor Who? No, that's horrible. There's nothing wrong with Doctor Who. Anyway, I want to say, spells and magics if she's into magic, or grand histories of the known world if she's into why elves are immune to the magic stuff. Does anyone? What do you think is more interesting? I know it's my choice, but like,
does spells and magic not cover the why elves are immune?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Spells cover magic. And elves are immune to magic.
Yeah, the actual area of expertise is called spells and magics.
With an S.
Maybe that. Yeah, it's magics with a CKS.
No, stop.
like Magica from the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, so maybe that one. It's pretty fun.
Maybe that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic expert.
Yeah. It's definitely that Legends of Heroes Past, because you don't know shit about the Titans.
Don't know nothing.
Don't know nothing.
About the what now?
Yeah. Wink.
That's going to make things much more fun. And I think the other person who has a big choice to make is Huku, because as a thief, you get to be a poisoner, which means you get to pick your poison.
Yes, this was tied between two, but I ended up with Golden Root. Which means the target treats the next creature they see as a trusted ally until proven otherwise.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a quest thing, but I'm not sure if that's like for the session, for like the actual start of the session.
Yeah, I think I'll be telling you what your actual starting thing is on the adventure, and then you'll have the opportunity to dedicate yourself to a mission.
Okay.
Through your quest. Yeah, I think your quests, you'll probably change quests not like semi-regularly, depending on what your quest is like. I don't know if we're expecting quests to be like a season-long thing or an arc-long thing.
I don't mind, because it's like, I don't want to switch superpowers too much.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what quests are. Like, in exchange for a thing, you get cool shit that you can do. And I want to, first of all, because if I switch them too often, I am going to forget that I have them. And listeners at home are going to yell at me. For real.
For real.
But yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then, Zara, you've got your gadgets.
That's correct. And I was thinking I could work on those since they're kind of a lot of steps, since there's 4 of them and they are a lot of things. So I don't want to bore people with them. Yeah, I have one extra because of the racial bias.
Wow, you've got a lot of inventions.
Yeah.
Real quick, Ford, tell us about your fighting style.
Yeah, it is. So I have weapon mastery. So I choose a weapon, and I believe that's the cestus, if I'm getting everything correct. And it is targeted and overwhelming.
So what do those mean?
So overwhelming means it's forceful, and targeted means +2 piercing.
Whoa, okay. So if someone's got like, I have a shield, you're like, no you don't.
No.
And then
you super don't anymore. I'm going to punch through the shield.
And then you punch them. All right.
Yeah, and as long as I wield my chosen weapon or a weapon like it, I can use these enhancements.
So basically, you could pick up an axe, and it wouldn't hit as hard as if you were punching someone, just because you're just really good at punching.
I'm just that good at punching.
Yeah, good. Cool, awesome. Very good. The next step of the character creation is to choose your alignment. So we're going to have like a sort of funny alignment thing that's going to come up later, but to begin with, we're just going to start with the first half of that.
I think I'm going to go with the lawful one for Zara. Prove the value of your inventions to others.
Okay,
Ooh.
that sounds for a bunny that's like, I need to be seen and respected. That makes sense.
Well, she would rather not be seen because she has anxiety. But
oh man, you fucked up a perfectly good rabbit. Is what you did.
Who was the god who fucked up the rabbits? We have to name it right now.
Wow. Okay.
What do
We're not
the
fucked up.
Laganals think of? What does Valentina think about religion? Do they have a god? What's their
I
deal?
have been thinking about this, and I think maybe our king is our god.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is some Imperium of Man shit
Well,
going on.
not exactly Imperium of Man, but like pretty Bretonia.
Okay. So he's divine right. He is the ruler by the will of God.
I think he's seen as a representative of our god. So I think
Okay.
like his, like the basis for his rule is very like holy mandate. Like his lineage is like blessed and chosen by God to be chosen by our God rather to be the king of Valentina.
Yeah, I mean his name is Valentine.
Yeah, exactly. But his name is Valentine. I was just gonna say the kingdom's named after his family.
Yeah, so I imagine the identity of Valentina is very drawn up in like this guy.
Absolutely. So like I think maybe oh my god. Okay, I've got one. Originally the Valentine family was not named Valentine. They changed their name to Valentine because Valentine is the name of the god and they are the representative of that god in the mortal realms.
That's presumptuous of them to just be like, hey, God, can we name ourselves after you forever?
Yeah.
God doesn't seem to mind.
No, I mean they're still doing it.
No problem so far.
Okay.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm super into that. Sick. So they're just called Valentine. And
I do want to say really quick before everybody gets ideas in their head, the current like king is pretty noble. He's not a bad guy.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
I feel like most people hear the words God King and they immediately think, uh-oh. Maybe rightly so, but
Honestly, I was thinking of not Asriel, the big one from Undertale. Asgore.
Undertale?
Yeah.
I don't think he was like God.
Yeah, but he
though.
was like nice. That's what I was thinking, like a nice king. Like jovial.
He did have floppy ears.
Yeah.
Too.
he was a good king who murdered children.
Everyone has their defects. I have an alignment.
Yeah, okay.
I took it from the cleric ones, because Paladin had one that was pretty good, but kind of on the nose that was like endanger yourself to protect innocent people or whatever. Like, lame.
Mm-hmm.
I chose the cleric lawful one, which is endanger yourself following the precepts of your church or god.
Okay. And we need to find out what those are.
Yeah,
huh?
yes.
Which we will do by next time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Does everyone else have their alignment figured out?
Yeah.
You go.
Okay.
Should I go?
Sure.
The Peerless Fighter has kind of like drives, I guess. Those are the alignments. And I want to tweak one of them a little bit. Because honor says defend those weaker than you, but I'd like to tweak that to be loyal. So, like, defend your allies.
Okay. So your alignment is like ride or die.
Yeah, my alignment is ride or die.
All right, awesome, fantastic, I love it. Sick. And Adeline.
I am gonna steal one from Wizard actually, because none of the bard ones are really jumping out at me. But the neutral Wizard one is discover something about a magical mystery.
Okay.
And
that's kind of like
your
drive is to uncover magical mysteries. Okay.
Yes. Specifically about why elves are, like what they are. But
why are elves?
Any magical mysteries? Why is elves?
Why are you the way you are?
What are elves? We just don't know.
And Tuku.
Yeah, I don't actually know which playbook this is from because I just googled Dungeon War alignments.
Oh, okay.
It's a neutral one. Make an ally of someone powerful, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. That might be a thief one.
It's not on my thief list though. The thief neutral is
Okay. Is that Bard?
Maybe it might be Bard. It seems like Bard.
Nope. It might
I
be
don't
just
know.
one that someone made up, honestly.
Probably, maybe.
It's pretty good though.
That's pretty good though.
Yes.
So your whole deal is about moseying up and making pals with people who are stronger or more politically powerful than you.
Yeah, and then stealing from them.
Fantastic. The Phantom
Without them knowing,
Thief Bell.
hopefully. And while they're like upset about the things being stolen, Tuku is there to comfort them. Like, oh, how horrible!
How awful! Fantastic! I love it.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I want to tweak my weapon mastery, seeing as my alignment is ride or die. I'm changing out the forceful one for defensive, and that's hold +1 if you defend even on a miss.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel
awesome.
like that makes more sense.
So you're a little bit less. You're a little bit less haymaker and a little bit more rope-a-dope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. You're bobbing and weaving. You're moving. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Awesome. Cool. So then the next step is choose your gear.
Oh.
Because you got starting gear and you have a load. And load is important because load is the amount of weight that you can carry. And that's actually in Dungeon World, it's abstracted enough to be simple enough to be a thing that you can actually care about, which I'm very into.
Hooray!
So you each get you each start with like a set of gear. So let's just run real quick and like figure out what your gear is.
Can I say that there's no gear in the character sheet on Roll20?
There's none.
Yes, go to the sub menu.
Well, it's also empty. To start with, or what are you talking about?
Oh. Damn. Yeah, I found it. Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so who wants to declare their gear first?
I've got it because I just finished it. I've got some dungeon rations. I have my 4 gadgets, which each take up 1 weight, and it's a nightmare. I have protective clothing, which gives me 1 armor, and I have a bag of books, which I can use 5 times to pull a book out of. And with that, I am at capacity. Thank you very much. Do not give me anything else to carry.
No one touch Zara. She'll fall over.
You have a total of 8 load, and you have filled out all 8 slots.
I have done my due diligence, and I've gotten my...
Oh boy, which means you got the biggest fanny pack in the world, you got a backpack, you got a duffel bag, and you are just waddling from place to place.
Let me just say, first of all, if you think that Zara does not waddle, and if you think she does not have a fanny pack, then you are picturing the wrong character.
Yeah, fair.
Someone tell me how much 12 plus 15 is.
12 plus 15.
12 plus 15 is 27.
Oh my god.
That's a lot. I have 8.
Yeah.
Is it your base, not your whole strength?
Yeah, it's the modifier.
Oh, that makes more sense.
So, just to be clear for everybody,
Yeah.
when it writes out the whole thing, like Constitution, that's the score. When it abbreviates it to STR or CON, that's the modifier. And that is how it's going to be in all of Dungeon World.
I see. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's not as impressive.
Sorry. Yeah, 27 would be a fucking lot.
That'd be buck wild. I got worried that Radiant is just like a muscle man.
Yeah, 27 versus 8. So yeah, who's next? Who's got their gear?
I can go. I've got my mandolin. This listed as your father's mandolin, which it isn't. It's somebody else's mandolin. But leather armor, dueling rapier, and... Oh, I can choose weed.
What?
Nice.
But I'm gonna choose adventuring gear.
Okay. An adventuring gear is fucking baller in this game because it is basically just a bag of stuff that you can pull some stuff out of.
Whatever you need.
And it's whatever you need.
I love adventuring gear.
Yeah.
Can never pass it up. As much as I would like weed, she can find some later.
One thing about the dueling rapier in the Bard playbook, for whatever reason, it's different from the dueling rapier in the equipment spot.
That's helpful. Because
the dueling rapier in the equipment spot has one piercing. So you can have that one piercing, because I think that's mostly just like a misprint.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. So
nice.
So it's not your father's mandolin. Whose mandolin is it?
Adeline grew up in Castellon, and a dwarf taught her how to play the mandolin. So it was the dwarf's mandolin.
For the record, Castellon is the central sort of desert region of the main island of the archipelago. Mm-hmm. It's where a lot of dwarves live. Also, here's a thing that won't come up for a while because I don't think there's any dwarves in the intro group that you're gonna meet. Dwarves are beetles.
Yeah.
In this universe.
Yes. Yeah.
Beetle dwarves.
Somehow I
Beetle
forgot
dwarves.
about it, even though I've been the most fervent fan of the beetle dwarves.
So in this setting, dwarves are dwarf size, 4 to 5 feet tall, but they are beetles. They have carapaces. They have 4 arms. They have main arms, which are on their shoulders, and then smaller arms, which are sort of on their midsection. And they can be all sorts of different kinds of dwarves, all kinds of beetles rather, different colors, different antenna, horn structures. And basically, we love them.
We love them.
We love them
They're very
so
good.
much.
We love them more than anything, and it's a tragedy that we're not all just playing Beatles.
Yeah. Another thing that we forgot to mention: orcs also have horns.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Ford has some horns.
Ford has
Other
some
orcs
lovely
are
horns.
He has lovely horns. They're pristine, is the thing, which is important.
Takes great care of them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Ford, do you want to declare your gear?
Yeah, I have scale armor, which is worn and clumsy, but I can just personally ignore the clumsy tag, because of the fighter. And then I have dungeon rations, and adventuring gear. And I was wondering for the last item, I could take the 22 coins, or could I just have a telescope, like a portable one?
Yeah, I think you could have a telescope.
Dope.
Instead of coins. You spent all your coins on a telescope?
Yeah.
Perfect. And for the record, the worn tag on armor is not because it is worn out, but it is because you wear it.
Awesome.
For reference. To make sure
I
that we
was a
don't...
little confused.
I also thought it meant worn.
Yeah. Radiant.
Hi.
You got your gear set up?
Yes. So I have dungeon rations, scale armor, haha. Because he scales.
Nice.
Some mark of faith, which I'm guessing is the Harry Potter shit he's got going on.
Okay. It could also be a holy symbol.
Yeah. I'm trying. What is the symbol for Cella?
I don't know. What is it?
It can't just be like a thunderbolt with a cloud with a thunderbolt sticking out. I refuse.
It could be. Some things we talked about was a fish hook, or a trident. But then we're getting in serious Neptune.
That's true.
Areas.
Lean in.
We could lean in. I know we talked about having a fish hook and bobber on wrapped around the haft of your spear.
Oh yes, that is true. I remember this now. I like the fish hook. I think that is a kobold specific thing. I don't think every Chella follower is into the fishhook shit, because it's like, here's this god of storms and like generally very powerful ocean, etc. How about like some fish? How about a fishhook?
So, well, here's the question: who else is a Chella follower at this point? But the kobolds.
Yeah, nobody. But before, it didn't used to be
before.
a fish. Yeah, it didn't used to be a fishhook, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, I guess then, in that case, we can think about that, what it used to be later.
Yeah.
We know that now it's a fishhook.
Yes.
It's a fishhook coming out of the clouds as opposed to a lightning bolt.
I refuse.
Okay. We can figure it out later.
No.
You just know that you have a mark of fate.
It is a fishhook. Right now, it's a fishhook, because I think that's adorable. That all of these kobolds are like, yay! It's the god of the ocean. He gives a fish. I love him.
So, I guess... Oh, one fun thing about that, does that mean that your spear is also just a fishing rod?
Yeah. He throws it at the water. Yeah.
It's like wrapped up, and you can like unwrap the line and just cast it out.
Yeah. Yes.
Good. That's very good.
Speaking of spear, that is what he has instead of the options that I got for weapons, because I thought, where is he going to find either a halberd or a longsword? Nowhere. It's kobolds.
I mean, it's effectively a halberd. In terms of like
I did pick
stuff.
I did pick the longsword thing because I like that it's one weight. And I like
okay, so it's a close spear as opposed to a reach spear.
Yeah. He's very small. He's very small and he can't reach very far.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
I wanted the shield also. It's important.
Oh, okay. So it's like a light spear.
Yeah.
It's almost like a javelin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't forget to put down your armor on the list so that you have your correct weight tabulated.
Yeah. I can't. This is like, this is maintenance stuff. I can't alter my armor and the actual sheet.
Me either.
Which is
So the thing is with that. How much is scale armor?
It's 2.
Okay.
And it's 3 weight.
And it's 3 weight.
Yeah, could you also do my armor too then?
There you go.
Thank you.
Other thing you gotta do is you gotta check equipped.
I see.
Oh, that explains it.
Thank you.
There it is. There it is. Now it's there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Roll20.
for fixing Roll20 for me. It was broken.
Thanks, Roll20 for fixing Roll20.
Yeah. Anyway, he also has some adventuring gear, because that's cool.
Chander, I'm fixing it for you, and you keep changing it back.
I'm so sorry.
It is now fixed.
Thank you.
There you go. I love Roll20. It's such a powerful thing, but it's a little silly. Okay, before we got into that armor digression, where were we at?
I said that Radiant had also some adventuring gear, but that's it. That's what he has.
Yes, lots of folks got adventuring gear.
It's so useful.
It's cool. It's very useful.
You will be prepared for whatever happens.
His church isn't going to send him out in the wild without some adventuring gear.
Oh, just
I've got
Just
books.
wait until you read your love letter. It's going to be great.
Oh, I'm excited.
Not spoilers. That is what it is. Your love letter is what did your friends give you?
Aww.
That'll be at the beginning of next session.
Yeah.
I've got them written, but
I'm excited.
this session. Okay. And then Tuku. Your
Yeah.
stuff.
I have dungeon rations, a leather armor, 3 uses of my poison, which was golden root. And for the weapon, I know we talked before about the possible whip, but should I choose from these for now?
What, did you want to just have a whip?
I kind of did want to just have a whip.
We can figure out the
Yeah.
times on a whip.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. If we want to just be a whip instead of a rapier,
Yeah.
we can figure that out by next session.
Okay. Cool.
For sure.
Then I have 3 throw-in daggers and adventuring gear. And that's all.
Love it. Throwing daggers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the next thing that we were supposed to do was introduce our characters. But we did that.
We did it.
We did
Ahead of
it.
the game.
What we're gonna,
We won.
And so we've done that. So the next thing would be to choose bonds. But actually, we're going to wait to do that. Because there's a second half of this session where we're going to play a game.
Yeah. Dun dun.
Dun dun. In a moment, we are going to play a game, a little micro game to introduce our characters, and then we will reflect on that, and pick bonds for next time.
Yay.
So yeah, see you next time.